The alarm on my phone chimes softly, playing a gentle melody that I chose months ago, hoping it would make the mornings easier. It doesn't. I hold my breath, my heart pounding a familiar, frantic rhythm against my ribs. Beside me, the woman I love more than life itself begins to stir. Her name is Chloe. She will open her beautiful green eyes, see me, a stranger, in her bed, and her world will shatter for the 387th time. And I will be there to piece it back together, just like every other morning. My name is Liam, and this is my life, my curse, my love story. And I have to ask myself every single day, is this profound love or a beautiful, heartbreaking prison? I want you to be the judge. Enjoy the story. The first thing I see is the flicker of confusion in her eyes. It's a tiny, almost imperceptible shift, but I know it better than I know my own reflection. Then comes the fear. Her body tenses, she pulls the covers tighter round herself, her breathing hitches. Any sudden move from me now, and she'll scream. I've learned that the hard way. So I stay perfectly still, offering a soft, sad smile that I've practiced in the mirror more times than I can count. "Good morning, Chloe," I say, my voice barely a whisper. Her eyes widen. Who are you? Where am I?" The words are laced with panic, just like yesterday, just like the day before. I slowly, carefully reach for the small laminated card on my bedside table. I hold it up for her to see. It reads, "My name is Liam. You are safe. You were in an accident. You have a form of amnesia where you can't make new long-term memories. I love you. Please, before you do anything else, watch the video on the iPad next to you labeled 'Read Me First.'" She snatches the card, her knuckles white. Her gaze darts from the card to my face to the unfamiliar room, the room we've shared for 3 years. I see the war in her mind. Every instinct is screaming at her to run from the strange man. But some small buried part of her, a part I pray for every night, hesitates. She glances at the iPad, then back at me. "This is a joke, right? A sick prank?" she asks, her voice trembling. "I wish it were," I reply, my own voice thick with emotion. I have to be strong. I have to be the anchor in her storm. She grabs the iPad, her hands shaking, and taps the screen. It's a video of herself, of the Chloe from yesterday. She looks happy, smiling into the camera. "Hi, Chloe," she says on the screen. "I know you're scared, but the man next to you, Liam, you can trust him. He's been patient. He's been kind. Yesterday he took me to the park and we fed the ducks. He drew a picture of me in his sketchbook. He made me laugh." I watch as Chloe's face softens, tears welling in her eyes as she listens to her own voice, a ghost of a day she'll never remember. The video ends. She puts the device down slowly. She looks at me, really looks at me for the first time this morning. The terror in her eyes has been replaced by a profound, heartbreaking sadness. "So, we do this every day?" she whispers. I nod, a lump forming in my throat. "Every day is a new beginning for us." She stares at me, her eyes filled with fear and a flicker of something else. Curiosity. "So," I say, forcing a hopeful tone, "now that we've been formally introduced for the 387th time, would you, Chloe, do me the honor of going on a first date with me?"
She stared at me for a long moment, a single tear tracing a path down her cheek. "A first date with a stranger?" she whispered. The weight of those words almost crushed me, but I couldn't let it show. "I'm hoping to change that," I said, trying to sound more confident than I felt. "Just coffee, in the park across the street. If at any point you feel uncomfortable, you can walk away, no questions asked." I held my breath. This was the critical moment. This was the moment that decided if today would be a day of connection or a day of lonely grief. After an eternity, she gave a small, hesitant nod. The relief that washed over me was so intense I felt lightheaded. An hour later, we were sitting on a park bench, paper cups of coffee warming our hands. The autumn air was crisp, and the scent of damp earth and fallen leaves filled the air. A weak sun was trying to break through the gray clouds. I watched her as she took a tentative sip, her eyes scanning the park. The families with their children, the dogs chasing squirrels. She was rediscovering her own neighborhood. "So," she began, her voice still cautious, "Liam, tell me something yesterday's Chloe didn't know about you." My heart warmed. This was a new question. "I'm a terrible singer," I admitted with a laugh. "I once tried to sing you happy birthday, and our cat hid under the bed for 2 days." A small smile touched her lips. It was like seeing the first flower of spring. "You have a cat?" "Her name is Patches. She's currently judging us from the living room window." The smile grew. We talked. It was stilted at first, but then something magical happened. It always does. Her personality, the real Chloe, began to shine through the fog of her confusion. Her quick wit, her infectious laugh, her genuine curiosity about the world. For a few blissful hours, I could almost forget that our shared reality had an expiration date of one night's sleep. I pulled out my sketchbook, the symbol of our story. It was a thick, leather-bound book, now almost full. "What's that?" she asked. I opened it to a blank page. "This is our memory," I said softly. "Every day I draw something, a moment from our first date." I started sketching her sitting there on the bench, her hair catching the weak sunlight, the coffee cup in her hands. She watched, mesmerized. "You're really good," she said. "I have a lot of practice," I said, and instantly regretted it as a shadow passed over her face. "Right, I forgot." The silence was heavy. "Damn it, Liam. Stupid." I had to fix this. "Hey," I said gently, turning the book towards her. "Look, I flipped through the pages, page after page of her. Chloe laughing at the duck pond, Chloe with ice cream on her nose, Chloe sleeping peacefully on the couch, Patches curled on her chest. A visual history of a love she couldn't remember." Her eyes filled with tears again, but this time they weren't tears of fear. She reached out, and for the first time today, she touched my hand. Her fingers were warm against mine. It felt like a monumental victory. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. At that moment, I felt a surge of hope. Maybe today would be different. Maybe something would stick. A voice from behind us shattered the moment. "Chloe! Chloe! Is that you?" We both turned. A man, probably in his late 20s, was jogging towards us with a wide, friendly grin. "Wow, it's been ages. You remember me, right? It's Mark from your old office." My blood ran cold. My heart plummeted into my stomach. I saw the pure, unadulterated panic flash across Chloe's face as she stared at the approaching, smiling stranger. Chloe's hand shot back from mine as if she'd been burned. Her breathing quickened, her eyes darting between me and the approaching man. I don't, she stammered, shrinking back on the bench. My protective instincts kicked into overdrive. I stood up, placing myself slightly in front of her. "Hey, Mark," I said, forcing a calm, polite tone. "Good to see you. Now's not a great time, man." Mark's smile faltered, his eyes flicking to Chloe's terrified expression. Sorry, is everything okay?" He didn't know. Of course he didn't. We hadn't told many people about the true extent of her condition after the car crash. It was too complicated, too painful to explain over and over. "We're just in the middle of something. I'll have her call you," I said, a clear dismissal in my voice. He got the message, gave a confused wave, and jogged off. The damage was done. The fragile bubble of trust we had spent all morning building had been violently burst. I turned back to Chloe, and she was already on her feet, her arms wrapped around herself. "That video, this whole story, it's real, isn't it?" she said, the words heavy with dawning horror. "It's not a prank. It's real." "Yes," I said softly. "It's real." "This is my life?" she asked, her voice cracking. "I just forget? I forget you? I forget everything?" I could only nod, my heart aching for her. The walk back to the apartment was a silent, tense nightmare. The connection we'd had in the park was gone, replaced by a wall of fear and confusion. She retreated to the bedroom and quietly closed the door. I was left standing in the living room, the silence of the apartment deafening. This was the worst part, the crushing loneliness. Have you ever loved someone so much you'd be willing to start from zero every single day? Let me know in the comments if you think I'm a hero or just a fool for holding on. I sank on the couch, burying my face in my hands. Maybe I was a fool. Maybe I was being selfish, trapping her in this loop because I couldn't bear to let her go. The thought of leaving, of giving her a chance at a life without this daily trauma, was a physical pain in my chest. I sat there for what felt like hours, the sketchbook lying open on the coffee table, our unfinished drawing a painful reminder of the morning's lost hope. Just as I was about to give in to despair, the bedroom door creaked open. Chloe stood in the doorway, her face pale, her eyes red from crying. She was holding my sketchbook. She walked over and sat down beside me, not too close, but not as far away as before. She opened the book to the page I was drawing and pointed to the empty space next to the sketch of her. "You didn't finish," she said softly. Then she handed me a small, folded piece of paper. I opened it. It was a note, written in her familiar, elegant handwriting. It said, "Liam, my name is Chloe. If you are reading this, it means you've forgotten again. Watch the video, look through the sketchbook, and please trust the man with the kind, sad eyes. I think he's trying to save you." My vision blurred with tears. She had written it for herself, for the Chloe of tomorrow. It was the first time she had ever done that. It was a tiny spark, but it was enough. It was a sign that she wasn't just a passive victim of her condition, but an active participant in our love story. I picked up the pencil. Our love wasn't about shared memories. It was about a shared present, a daily choice, a relentless, stubborn, beautiful choice to create a new moment, a new drawing, a new first time every single day. I looked at her, and for the first time I saw not just confusion and fear, but a flicker of a warrior's spirit. I started to draw again, completing the picture. "Okay, Chloe," I whispered, my voice filled with the hope that felt real and solid. "Where should we go on our first date tomorrow?"